estén presentes en actos como este, es necesario que demostremos que no vamos a tolerar el racismo.
And there's going to be a caucus in Nevada.
I feel that some political pundits are still saying that Bernie Sanders has no chance to win. And I'm here, and we're all here to show you in person that Bernie Sanders has a chance to win, but he needs your help.
Latino Rebels, a website for Latino news, called it hispandering.
¿Se siente identificado con los Dreamers?
Almost all of us are the
Casi
sons
todos nosotros somos hijos e hijas de migrantes.
Every executive action the president has taken that exceeds his constitutional authority, that disregards the law, it would be my intention to rescind.
I'll win the Latino vote. I will win it.
So when is the caucus? So it is on a Saturday because we want as many people to participate as possible. And it will be February 20th at 11 a.m. We are actually in the process of registering 1,000 high school seniors in the Washoe County area. And I got all the data yesterday, so it's super exciting. These are Democrats, not partisans, Green and Whigs. So that's amazing. We have about 1,000 people that are going to be participating for the first time ever in a caucus, which is amazing.
Fuzzy bear.
Honestly, until I really sat down and talked about how does a caucus actually work, I had students make a video explaining the caucus process. And once we got it, we thought, well, that actually kind of sounds fun. You show up to this room basically where you have people who can speak on behalf of candidates, and then you can change your mind. You can be persuaded to join another candidate, and then I know that it differs within the Democratic and the Republican parties on physically moving around the room or silently counting votes, but I do also think it seems intimidating in the same way that my students think politics can be boring, because first of all, there is no word for caucus in Spanish. And I've talked to a lot of intelligent, engaged people who are either my colleagues or close friends who are educated humans who have no idea what it is. And part of it too is like no one likes to admit that they don't know something, and then it seems a little bit intimidating. You look it up and some of the descriptions online, you're like, that's not for me. I don't need to show up to that. And I think a lot of it is just explaining, like, no, it's the same thing as voting. You need to show up to this and be an active participant. So I do think it can be intimidating, can be perceived as unimportant, maybe boring. Maybe it needs a new word, I don't know, but it needs to be better explained, I think.
So this is like a mini one, but in the real one, you're gonna have 15 minutes to pick a person. You're gonna have 15 minutes to pick the next person. They can go, okay, I vote for them, and they just include themselves in that group. Does that make sense?
It is very confusing. I remember 8 years ago when we had the first caucus, and people, they just didn't know what was that. And then I remember writing articles about that to kind of explain what is the process of this caucus, and still it's very difficult for people to just understand that it's just a regular meeting.
But I'm actually a supporter of the caucus system because for a couple of things, in particular when I was a legislator, people don't necessarily understand that to have early status in the selection process for president, you either have to have that caucus separate from our normal primary elections, or you have to have a special primary. And to do a special primary, that costs the taxpayer money. That's public funds that have to be put up to put that on. So the caucus system is sort of a do-it-yourself approach where the parties can come together and figure out for themselves how they want to choose somebody. So it's, I know for the Democratic Party, there's a lot of effort put in place in doing trainings and breaking down the caucus process, which at first blush is very complicated and very sort of Byzantine, but once you've gone through it once, or even just the training, it's pretty easy to understand. And I kind of like the idea of you take a Saturday out, you take your family up to your caucus, you meet all your neighbors, you have a couple quick discussions and debates, and then you count the heads and you go home.
So how are we going to win Nevada? That's a good question, right? I bet you guys are all hearing what my major plan is. Well, my plan is to get each and every one of you out to caucus. We have these things here. I'm sure you saw some of our field organizers. They've been probably asking you around here to sign up, commit to caucus. These are commit to caucus cards. And what we want you to do today is fill out this card and pledge your support to caucus for Bernie Sanders on February 20th at 11 a.m. That's February 20th at 11 a.m. Say it with me. February 20th at 11 a.m.
Get there early.
Get there early. So we want everyone to come out and caucus for Bernie Sanders, right? We want you to bring your friends, your family, and we want you to sign these supporter cards today.
Hispanos estén claros y entiendan qué es lo que está pasando con las elecciones presidenciales. Por favor.
Tenemos los dos para elegir uno. Tenemos el grupo en donde tenemos que elegir cuál va a ser nuestro candidato.
And I'd like to introduce another ally, Teresa Navarro.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody here today. It's a great honor for me to be up here. I've been an activist in this community for over 40 years and involved in Nevada for many, many years. I believe that Bernie Sanders speaks to his heart directly to the people in Nevada and all over the United States. He's been involved in politics. As an activist, I do a lot of protesting, and last year I was protesting in Washington, D.C., and happened to notice that Bernie Sanders was walking right next to me with the $15 bench.
A Nevada congressional hopeful is endorsing Bernie Sanders for president. Democrat Lucy Flores says she's supporting the Vermont Socialist Democrat because he's the most likely to make a difference in Washington.
We need someone who is willing to put themselves out there and say, no, we need a radical shift.
Many Nevada Democrats have already endorsed Hillary Clinton.
I'm Adam Laxalt, Nevada's Attorney General, and I'm endorsing Ted Cruz for president. This is what conservatives in Nevada right now are hungry for, a constitutional conservative that's going to protect our rights, give Nevada more liberty, protect us from the federal government, give our economy and our families the ability to grow and reach the American dream.
It's never been true that in order to sympathize with the plight of immigrants or to believe in the American dream, one must reject our constitutional system. To borrow a phrase our president is fond of using, that is a false choice.
That was Nevada's Attorney General testifying on Capitol Hill yesterday, presenting the case against the president's executive actions on immigration. Adam Laxalt is a former Navy JAG officer who says he's defending the Constitution. He has defended the Constitution overseas and won't let the president trample on it here at home. Joining us right now with more is Nevada's Attorney General, Adam Laxalt, joining us from Reno today. Good morning to you, Mr. Laxalt.
Yes, the president has been known for many different things, but he's been known also to be able to try to do things on immigration reform. We do need it. We need a relief for many. I mean, we have millions of immigrants that need a relief, that are in fear. We have students that would benefit from this. Families that have been here giving to this country for many, many years and who deserve to have a relief, to be able to be in peace, to be able to work peacefully.
Yeah, that'd be more like Washoe County. Right, this
Sorry.
Redesign is going to be...
Oh my God. I don't want to get my neck cold.
Yeah, I will be voting for the first time, and I'm pretty excited. It's going to be a big vote. I mean, there's the candidates are in such, there's such what's it called? Like the candidates are so like on, opposite ends.
What I would say to our Latino population and to any of our immigrant population, and in general, Northern Nevada population, students, workers, this is the time to come out and vote. It's a time to voice our opinions. It's our time to be able to choose the right individuals to be in office.
People really feel that this is an election that Latinos, perhaps more than other groups, have a lot to lose.
I've heard a lot of chatter that, the election's not until November. We've already had like 30 debates. I'm just gonna wait and then figure out who I'm gonna vote for. But there are people who are going to caucus in February, and that has a lot to do with who's going to make it through to November. So I think it is gonna sneak up on people. So I do think some people have tuned it out because they think, there's all this stuff in the news. And also, honestly, Trump gets a lot of the coverage and that gets exhausting. So you do tend to shut it off.